the actual intimacy coach from Euphoria joins us on the phone now.
Her name is Ma'am Smith. Hello, ma'am. I've wanted to say that for a long time.
Hey, ma'am.
How are you? Hey.
Hi there.
Hi there. Hey, look, thanks for jumping on. I know it was not prepared.
It was very
and not
last
organised.
minute.
However, we've been playing some clips from other shows today where they're explaining the intimacy coach, and a lot of people are loving the intimacy coach job because it keeps all the creeps out of movies and people don't feel uncomfortable, and young women and young men, actors, they don't feel uncomfortable.
And also they can enjoy a sex scene, right?
Well, not like the traditional ways.
But I think they can't.
Yeah,
they
not
won't
in
be
a traditional way.
Yeah, well, I think, so what's the process for you? And what I would love to know is, what are the things that you put between their genitals so they don't touch, but it looks like they are touching?
Yeah.
I've
We're
always
going deep,
wondered that.
straight, right?
Yeah.
Going straight in. I'll tell you, we deal with, as an intimacy coordinator, I deal with a lot of the legal paperwork prior to shooting. So we make sure before we shoot, we get written, informed consent from the performers. So once they see a script, we break it down and we take a look at the scenes and we talk to the director and the actors, and we get into, a place of informed consent about what is expected and how they feel. And we make sure we're all in agreement prior to shooting. Yeah. So that's basically, we go through a legal process, and especially in Hollywood, it's very litigious. So everything's kind of written down and, I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And then we go into shooting, and sometimes I'm there for part of the rehearsal process, and we just look at camera angles. Like I think of it a lot, and I come from 25 years as a stunt performer. So we look at it like a stunt, or at least I do. So if you're going to set a fight scene, you're not actually punching the actor. You're really not shooting them. Sure. You try to line up the cameras in a way that you can sell it as a good hit. You sell that with camera angles and with editing. And so we do the same thing when we're choreographing or setting up these intimate scenes. We make sure they can be in positions where it really looks like this is happening, and the audience is never going to think it's not, because we're really selling it.
I love that, because it's got to be believable, right? The audience has to believe it, but you don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. Yeah. It's just a norm. It seems quite like a sensible thing to do, so everyone's happy and you get the best result.
Absolutely. And I honestly say, if Hollywood had common sense, I wouldn't have a job, right? If everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, this position wouldn't be necessary.
What do you put in between? Like, is it a little bit of grease-proof paper that you put in there?
I heard Sydney Sweeney say it was a yoga mat, but are you cutting up a little square from a yoga mat?
We don't usually. We usually have things prepped through our wardrobe team. But we have used yoga mats that we will roll up or cut up or use as padding, depending on, almost like you would with stunt pads. You put them in, you try to make them in positions where nobody's going to see them, and you keep them safe that way.
Ma'am, I asked one of our young staffers here, Mayo, because she was like, it's important here, no one there, bloody blah, blah. And anyway, and I said, listen, if you were cast in a Thor movie, would you want Thor rubbing his junk up against you? And she said yes. So... she said yes.
It's not optional.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, you don't get to choose.
I wondered that.
No, you don't get to choose. No. We're in America, we're shooting under SAG, Screen Actor Guild, SAG-AFTRA rules. And so we have union rules that protect actors. And what the intimacy coordinator does is make sure that we're actually executing the rules that are already established through our union, and then giving them the best options of ways to the director get his vision and for the actors to have as much, comfort between them. Yeah. Most of these actors are really comfortable with each other and they really enjoy it, but they also have their own relationships at home. And they're like, we're friends. I'm dating a guy. I don't want it to be weird.
Yeah. Because imagine if one actor said yes and the other said no. That's inappropriate.
No. That means no.
But it's a come on, really.
No rules.
Yeah. Wow.
So no is a trump,
When you sit down and you go through everything in the scene, is it literally detailed, but to the point where they'll be like, okay, now he rubs your boobs and he tweaks your nipples. Are you okay with that?
It's not YouPorn, it's Euphoria, Jackie.
Yeah,
well, it's HBO, so it's close.
Yeah, you do see quite a bit.
We'll sit and talk it through, but what we do is what I call body mapping, and we'll just say basically, when I know my actors, I almost don't have to go over it. Like Sydney did so many scenes with Jacob that we knew their boundaries. We had discussed it constantly. We were more concerned about camera angles and what it was going to look like because we knew what they were comfortable with together. But we do body mapping. So if I'm working with a new actor, I'll say, just show me, even on almost like when you go to the chiropractor and you see an outline of a body, like where does it hurt? You make a cross on your knee. You make it, for me, it's all over because I did stunts for so long. But we go, where you don't want to be touched. And we kind of get a sense, I'm okay with you grabbing my boob. I don't want you to tweak my nipple. I don't mind you kissing my chest. I don't want you to kiss my boobs.
Jackie, I feel that we need to have one of these. I think we need one of these maps here on the show.
You might need it in your office.
I think we do
need one. Feel free
to
call me at any time. I'll come down.
Yeah, what a fascinating job.
Have you ever had anyone say, I'm comfortable with everything being touched?
Well, I've had people say, "Well, yes," and then I'll say, "Well, we're not. He's not going to grab your crotch, and he's not going to, and you're not going to grab his crotch because that's not necessary."
Have you got anyone? Has anyone ever quit because of there's no crotch grabbing? Has anyone ever said, "Well, that's it, I'm out of here"?
I doubt it.
I'm out. No, but when that happens, I'll call you guys right away.
Yeah, we're ready. We're right up for anything over here. Just so we're Australian. We're a bit, well, you've done work with Nate, so like he's, we're up for anything.
Who's
pretty
Nate?
Much. From the show.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. What do you mean, who's Nate?
Oh.
The main guy.
Jacob. Yeah.
Character name.
Right, okay.
Yeah, he's your guy.
I only know character names.
He's our main heartthrob.
He's so hot, right? Like, I'm a straight man, and even I can see that's a piece of work.
No, you can't.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He's a good piece of work.
What about that other show? What's that other show? It's Australian, where the guy did the full frontal nudity, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's not a real penis." Oh, yes, it is. Oh no.
Oh yeah, Adam.
Was that show?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's we had that on our show too on season 2.
Sex Life.
We do have a lot of actors. But I don't know the answer. What was it? Was it a real? What happened?
We don't know. There's still a lot of debate.
Still don't really know.
Because we have a big audience. It's the biggest show in Australia here. So we said, listen, if you banged this guy, let us know. Is it real or not? And then they all rang up, yes, it's real, yes, it's real, yes, it's real. But we don't know.
Maybe it is. We do. Sometimes they do frontal nudity on these shows. They have to agree to it ahead of time. But also, like we did in Euphoria, we do use prosthetics. And the prosthetics can be really good. Yeah. And the prosthetics can sometimes,
not be good.
Pee. So they can pee.
They can pee.
So sometimes they can pee. We have pee rigs. So, you never know what you're going to be asked. And we do have some pretty amazing special effects people who can hook you up.
Isn't that incredible? You know about the movie stars, and you know about now with the intimacy coaches, but did you realise there's some engineer somewhere making a fake cock that pisses on cue? That's amazing.
I bet they use that for drug tests sometimes too, right? Do people use those in drug tests?
Oh, there you go. That's a side gig. That would be a good side gig.
Yep. Mm.
Have you ever dealt?
I might have to look into that.
Ma'am, have you ever had to deal with a micro penis on set where you're like, wow, okay, I've got to be very gentle here?
Well, I'll tell you, I personally have not had to deal with micro penises, but I know there are shows out there like Minx that had all kinds of sizes and shapes and full frontal on their show.
What's that called? Minx?
Sometimes actors will say Minx. If you look out,
I'm writing it down. Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Write it down.
Write it down. It sounds good.
Yep, first episode had all kinds, shapes and sizes, and that was part of their thing. So I haven't. But, actors will say they don't want to go on camera, and, they'll pull me aside and go, just don't think my package might represent my character the way I want it to be represented.
You just tell them, just give that thing a slap and get some, like men know what to do.
Hey, if you can choose to have the most amazing penis be shown, why wouldn't you?
If you can have someone make you your ideal,
then do it. That's what I would do.
How are we going to live that down when someone eventually, in a personal situation goes, hang on a second, what's this?
Oh, that's right. That's tough to follow up with.
What's this rubbish?
Yeah.
Ma'am, look, thank you very much. Ma'am Smith. She's the intimacy coordinator on Euphoria. We love that show, by the way. I love it.
And many other shows. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much for chatting to us.
I appreciate that. Quite
You're
interesting.
Welcome, guys.
Okay, and
what an interesting job, Ryan.
Oh, such a good job.
Yeah.
I'd love that job.
Yeah, I know. You'd be taking home those man-made penises.
I know.
I'll tell you that.
I'd be like, what penis do you want? I'll get it for you.
You're like, let me get a couple of these things. Test a few of these babies out.
Y'all been great. Thank you so much.
Kyle and Jackie O.
Catch up on Kyle and Jackie O.
Search Kyle and Jackie O on iHeartRadio.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. Kiss.